So we get asked this question a lot of times on the Saturday Night live stream. What is happening with that Transformers Armada Optimus Prime that we saw a while back? What is happening with that? Well, finally we got an official word from Mark of the Hasbro design team. Now, for people that aren't familiar with it, back in Wonder Festival 2019 Winter Edition, it was February 9th, 2019 to be exact, they had some convoys on display, prototypes in the resin form. They literally listed it as Convoy S and Convoy A. Now, Convoy S was obviously the Star Convoy prototype, which was an extensive retool of the Power of the Primes, Optimus Prime, into the legendary Star Convoy. And the other one, Convoy A, was just the regular, smaller robot mode of Armada Optimus Prime, again, also in a resin prototype. And what was odd about it was, as time progressed throughout the year, this was February 2019, by the time of September of 2019, Star Convoy had been released completely. Final product out there. It was a Takara-Tomy mall exclusive, and then later on, Hasbro Pulse managed to get some numbers to use to sell to the Western market. But unfortunately, Convoy A, aka Optimus Prime Armada Edition, Micron Convoy, whatever you want to call him, he kind of just disappeared. And that was that. And some people speculate, oh, well, it happened during, like we got Star Convoy and then 2020 happened and the big V and that kind of ruined everything. And it would just be a matter of time. And then, maybe by 2022, with the anniversary of Transformers Armada, 20th anniversary, it could be an item. And we still got no information on it. It was very bizarre. So Mark did a little Q&A again, and one fan, Leonardo, asked, love the name, hello, Mark. Given the recent reveal of Titan-class Cybertron Metroplex a few days ago, is there any chance that Armada Optimus Prime's prototype from 2019 could be reconsidered for Legacy now that the Unicron trilogy is being represented in the line? And Mark responded by saying, here's some food for thought. That prototype that was shown was made by Takara's regional base team, and it was a static model that did not have the capability of doing a super mode. Hope that's a little tidbit of interest for you. Now, what Mark says is kind of bizarre because we got a lot of photos of that Optimus. Snackis from Japan did an incredible photo shoot from just practically every angle of that Optimus. And it showed that at the back of the legs, it showed the large fist for the super mode. The super mode's giant head was tucked inside the chest of the transformation. There was a capability of some kind of super mode there. There was pins. Now granted, it's a prototype. Things change, but it clearly looked like there was an intent for this to have a super mode. Now, we never saw the torso ever transformed. We never saw the transformation even into the alt mode. So maybe he's right. Maybe it's just a really finely detailed model that's articulated, and it just has the fine details and the veneering of a super mode baked into it based off of the original toy, where it did have kind of the large fists behind the back of the legs because that's where the super mode fists go. But what is Mark trying to tell us exactly? Takara regional base team, static model, that little tidbit interests you? Is he trying to say that if this does get released, if this does happen, if this is something that just transforms into the truck mode and doesn't do the super mode, is this going to be something that's just a Takara item, perhaps? And if that's the case, if it's just a Takara item, when are we going to get it? This is the no pun intended, prime time right now in 2022 with the anniversary of Transformers Armada and the anniversary of Transformers Micron in Japan. There's literally a 6 month difference between the two of them. So it really makes me wonder, so is it going to happen? Is Mark in a lot of ways confirming that this thing was just a model and was never meant to be an actual item in the end? Like, it's very vague, the answer there. Not to mention he puts the little sunglasses emoji or, face icon. So that's very bizarre. So it really makes us wonder now, what is going to be the future of this item, considering now it's 3.5 years old since that we saw that prototype, and still no indication of what's happening. We've gone through a whole bunch of different Transformers series since then, different lines. I mean, we're on Legacy now, and still no indication. I mean, I think at this point, if we do get it, it's probably going to be a Takara-Tomy Mall exclusive and or Hasbro Pulse item. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be something in retail, I guess. I don't know. It's very, very bizarre. I always felt that this thing was going to happen at some point, because we used to get so many different... They used to do the Transformer Masterpiece votings, where every year they would vote. They would poll the fans in Japan who would they want the next masterpiece to be. And always in like the top 3 was Micron Convoy, aka Armada Optimus Prime. Every single time he made the top 3. And so it clearly told me that there is a huge audience for that grew up on the Unicron trilogy, both in the West in America, but even more so in the East in Japan, that this is a big deal for them. And I mean, Micron was pushed heavily in Japan. It got PVCs, it got candy toy figures, it got kabaya kits, it got all kinds of stuff. And then on the Western side, I mean, go and listen to our Transformers, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer segment on YouTube, where we talked about the history of Transformers on Armada and how much of a big reboot that was for the Transformer brand, not just from a storytelling standpoint, but also from a business and a marketing and a licensing standpoint too. So it's very bizarre. Could it be that potentially the fire is not in the oven anymore because there was a third-party one that came out that did the same thing? I sure hope not. What was that, the MB something they called it? We talked about it many years ago on the podcast. Who knows? But very bizarre. I mean, just the statement that it doesn't have the super mode, but yet the super mode pieces could clearly be seen. Especially that, it's one thing like the back of the legs, it has those big, combiner super mode hands on the back. Okay, that could be a veneering and just a sculpting detail. But the fact that you could see that the super mode head is tucked in under the normal robot mode's head just by folding and transforming, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe he's misremembering something. Maybe, I don't know. Very, very bizarre. Let me know what you think. I just find this quite interesting, considering the fact that to me, I feel it's money on the table. The time was put into it, the tooling, the engineering, and everything, and it's perfect timing for an anniversary. There's a huge demographic of people that are a prime buying number now. These are guys that are 25 years old, 30 years old, that grew up on the Unicron trilogy. I mean, that's just what I think, but let me know what you think. It's very bizarre, but I think this kind of gives us a small little bit of an idea of what's going to be the future of this toy, and maybe it's not looking good.